Welcome everyone to Awesome Truth, a wrestling book club. I'm your host, Steve Semino, and with me as always is my co-host, Walt Schwenk. Hey, Walters.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
My friend, it is going very well. We are back on Awesome Truth, and we are doing a watch-along. Walt, it is our September watch-along. We are deviating, finally, from Peacock, from WWF, WWE, or WCW matches, anything owned by Vince McMahon, now I guess owned by TKO, is that what they're called now? The fighting conglomerate that owns all of this content. We're not watching that, though. We're finally doing a promotion outside of the Vince McMahon sphere. We're doing an AEW match. We're doing Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I was at this event. It was
this at
first Grand Slam.
The Grand Slam, right? The Grand Slam event in 2021. Is that correct?
First ever, yeah.
Wow.
And I don't remember a thing about it, but I was there. And
is that because of forgetfulness or drinking or a combination of the two? Or
it's just been a long time, and I feel like I just don't remember much.
There's been a lot of wrestling in between. Even for someone like us who talk more about wrestling than we watch wrestling, you've consumed probably 100 matches since then of some sort. So
I was gonna say, like, oh yeah, I've seen so much wrestling since then. But I don't think that's actually accurate.
I was out actually at a bar yesterday talking to one of my wife's friends, and he was like, I hear you're a big wrestling fan. And I had to do the whole thing I always do, where it's like, yes, I do host a wrestling podcast. Yes, I do watch all the big pay-per-views, but no, I am not a wrestling fan. And he was very confused by that, which is fair because it doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
I usually just throw shade at Raw. I'm like, I don't watch swill like Raw, you know? That's how I try and delineate it.
I hear Raw's pretty good these days, though. I mean, the 3 hours feels like 2.5.
Yes.
So
for any of our listeners who are watching Raw, God bless you. I just don't know if I have the stamina. My time as a grown-up man with a child now, your time is so much more limited. Like, to give any of my hours to Raw seems just like a total waste of them. But
yeah, that'd be more of a chore than changing diapers and keeping it alive.
I'd rather look at shit all day than watch Raw personally. But you know, God bless them people who are. But we're not talking about Raw anymore. We're talking about AEW. We're talking about Dynamite. We're talking about this Grand Slam match and Omega versus Danielson, which, you know, at the time was, I would say, probably the dream match at the moment. Like, I don't think anyone wanted the match really more than that one, because two of the best workers going in the last decade, like, it was really it was an AEW fans and sort of a work rate fans dream.
Yeah, it was just definitely highly anticipated. And I believe this started the show too, so it was like a hot crowd, sellout crowd in a like really iconic venue, and a New York crowd, and then like this starts the show. It's like,
and I believe it's heel Kenny versus face Bryan, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, this is because I think I see Don Callis in
and I see Omega with, I believe, the Triple H mustache. Is that right?
Yep, I believe so.
Which I'm 100% sure he did it because it was the Triple H mustache, right?
Oh yeah. That feels right.
Friend of the show, Chris Holcomb, knows that mustache very well as well, so he knows what we're talking about.
I think he's rocked at it. So.
Yes. I think that was when H looked horrifically bad, too. It was bloated and weird looking. But
right. Well,
anyway.
Again, this is not a WWE watch-along.
All right, well, let's go. Let's get started. This match is a little harder to find than the things that are typically on Peacock, but if you Google Omega Danielson full match, you will find a video of it pretty cleanly. So if you downloaded this, open that up, watch along, because it might disappear someday. But if you're an internet sort who's savvy, I think you can find it pretty quickly. So
yeah, Toki Video.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, yeah, Toki Video, whatever that is.
Just hopefully it doesn't get dinged between now and the time of publishing.
That's right. This is coming up pretty soon, so fingers crossed.
Yeah,
all right, well, everybody, get ready, go to that site, and just hit play right away. There's no time code. We're just getting right started. You ready, Walt?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Video. Here we go. There's the hot crowd you're talking about, Walt.
Whoops. Oh, I hit an advertisement. No.
Oh, no.
Pausing.
Do you want to cut
30
this or
seconds
keep it?
of... We're keeping this.
All right.
All right, now I'm back, baby.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Resume video.
You have JR, like, throwing to the break, right?
I don't have sound, so...
I'm
really feeling... Okay. I have Danielson coming out right now.
Same. Okay.
Okay, here we go. We're pretty synced up.
I don't know why there'd be multiple Toki video links for this match.
We're 99% sure we're on the same thing. So hopefully you're all with us as well. This is all staying in. This is how we do it. This is how the sausage is made. I'm seeing they're selling AEW trading cards, I believe. That was a thing or may still be a thing.
Oh, crap.
Did not know about that.
I just got the e-pack. All right,
there we go. So we're pretty synced up.
All right, that's time stamping right there.
Yes. I'm going to sync up. I'm going to confirm our sync upness.
Why don't you pause for a second?
I just paused for 2 seconds. There we go. Danielson's doing his pose.
Wait, I saw yes side. Now he's doing the pose, so you're still 2 more seconds ahead.
Right, well, I'm pausing again. Here comes. There we go.
All right.
I think we're synced up now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Pressing on. Face Danielson, looking good. Pretty new to AEW at this point, I believe. So, I mean, this was extremely exciting then.
Like now, debuted what, All In?
I believe that's correct, yes. Right
this
after Adam Cole,
weeks
right?
Danielson.
Wow, so it's that recent. So he's incredibly new. That was one of their biggest nights when him and Cole debuted in the same night. That was a masterstroke for Tony.
Yeah, that was kind of like the peak.
And Adam Cole, not that he's in this match, but to deviate a little bit, I will say when they brought Cole in, it was just he was such I would say he was just very overexposed in NXT. Just seemed like the most boring signing they could make, just like this guy who we've just seen to death and does not have the physique and sort of had the gimmick, but now he's a little tired. And man, what a revelation he's been with MJF. Like that saved that whole run. He's beloved again.
Yeah, it's funny how many of those guys AEW has, and as you just forget, like you could heat up a Keith Lee tomorrow, and I wouldn't or Miro, and I wouldn't even react like, whoa, what a unbelievable development. Like and so they have all they have so many indie darlings that can work, but also have that WWE rub that so they know how to entertain. I mean, that's so stupid to say, but it's kind of true with Adam Cole right now. It's like if he didn't have that NXT run, I don't know if he would be able to pull off what they're doing with MJF the way they are so successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they do have a ton of guys they brought in, and we all got super excited, thinking, the old thing against Vince is, Vince doesn't know how to use this guy, doesn't know how to use that guy. And then, at the end of the day, it is hard to use everybody. I think that's the one thing AEW has reinforced is even if you're not Vince and you don't subscribe to the Vince rules, by the way, this crowd is scorching. I got the sound working now, and they are losing their minds. This is great.
Oh, no, another minted ad. Are we going to get any ads?
No.
All right, well.
Do you want me to pause? Are we is this falling apart?
I don't know, man. Just go buy minted. It's where I get my save the date and other stuff.
Are you still on an ad?
No, it's 5 seconds at a time. Damn. Why am I getting ads?
Yeah, I'm not getting any ads.
Only this is on Peacock. This would.
Are you seeing them? Are they going toe to toe? I don't know how we're gonna.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw this match, so it's not like, whoa, don't spoil anything for me. What happens?
No, I know, but it's sort of the watch along format becomes clunky if we're not talking about the same thing. We're
talking around it a lot. It's
That's true.
Also, I can say definitively that being in this stadium was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looks great. Danielson's hopping around right now. They're just blatantly Danielson's smiling at the crowd like he's babyfacing it up. Yeah. This feels like to him, I imagine, very, very much justification for his choices. I came over, I wanted to work with this guy, and then by the way, we have this super hot New York crowd. And I like that they run this venue too. I'm sure they were trying to differentiate from WWE in that way. Let's run this place that Vince wouldn't touch because he's got MSG, and it's their place. And even though I know they ran it again a week ago as of this recording, and ticket sales seemed that they were sparse, and then they seemed like they picked up and ended up being a pretty good show. So,
right. Well, I know. This is 20K people. I think the first.
Is that how big it is overall?
Well, last year was they made the $1 million gate, and
that's
I
right.
think it was 20K.
Jeez, that's a huge crowd for North America. Obviously, they've set the bar pretty high international, but I got an ad now too.
Just let it play. Yeah,
we're gonna be hitting ads. You're gonna see them too. They are 2 seconds long.
Yeah,
so that's
this is part of the watch along experience. Yeah. Kid, god damn it.
But yeah, that's a ton of people, and the knock on AEW always is that they run the same venues over and over again, and that's sort of true. They don't tend to expand. It took them forever to run Europe, and obviously when they got there, demand was crazy. But they do put on good show, and they almost always come through with these shows, regardless of how many times they've been in the spot, and they do seem to sell enough tickets to get by. So it might not be the best strategy, at least the most diverse strategy in the world in terms of expanding your horizons and trying new places out, but it seems like it works enough to keep everybody pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean, even at 10,000, is that considered good?
I think
Maybe.
so. I know WWE has been on a heater of their own for years now, but 5 years ago, I know they were struggling to get 10,000 in a lot of places. So I think it's and for this, the clear number 2 to get 10,000 consistently, I think is a pretty big win.
Yeah. It was really cool going to this venue as well. Sorry, quick aside is it looks like a tennis stadium.
Yeah, well, it is.
So stupid. It is. But
right.
Like the seats I had.
Yeah, but there's no they didn't try and there's no gussing it up or changing it. It's just a tennis stadium.
You can't. It's just the boxes in certain parts of the stadium. I was in not the floor, but the first level above the floor where it's crazy weird guardrails that makes sense for tennis, but for this does not.
Yep.
But it's just made for I don't know, it's a weird experience. And
ooh. Kenny cartwheel? How far ahead of him? Did Kenny do a cartwheel?
He's doing it in 3, 2.
All right. I'm syncing back up.
Yeah, he just did the cartwheel.
All right. Well, we're syncing back up. Like I said, I'm going to quietly sync back up, not tell everyone all the syncing going on. But I will say, I do love that Kenny does not have the Triple H mustache during the match. He clearly got it for the promotional shot backstage, the photo, and then probably shaves it right away. And looks like his normal self.
Triple H, the beard.
But he doesn't. It looked incredibly prominent in that promo shot, though. The picture, his little picture at the bottom, or the picture in the Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. It looks like he had grown it out for a couple weeks, and now it looks like you could pass this off as relatively normal facial hair from a distance. I feel like he might.
It's pretty distinct. The Triple H beard.
I thought it looks thick as that, but regardless, he does look ridiculous, and he's got the heelness turned up very, very nicely.
Yeah. Now what is Kenny doing now? It's Takeshita's big bad currently.
Yeah, I believe so. I know he's got a match coming up with it's him and Jericho and Ibushi versus all the mean Don Callis guys, which I believe is Sammy, Takeshita, and is that how you say it? Takeshita?
Takeshita.
I know his name. Both of his names are not pronounced the way, even a way that me trying to do a Japanese accent would be able to pull off. So I know he's involved, and then Ospreay's coming back, I believe.
Okay.
At Wrestle
cool.
Dream.
I miss a lot in the last week because I was working.
They've run 6 pay-per-views in the last 3 weeks. So
did they do a pay-per-view in the week? Did I hear that?
Maybe. I think it's coming up pretty soon. Let's look that up. Wrestle Dream is the next one. I know that. I know it's not.
Is
far
that a
away.
pay-per-view?
I believe so.
Oh my God! When did they add that?
That's October. Yes, October 1st. Jeez.
Isn't Full Gear in a month?
I have no idea. It's in Seattle, so that's good. I feel like that's the place they haven't played. They haven't done a ton. So.
Oh, they should definitely do a Bryan match then.
Yeah, I believe they. I'm sure they are. Let's see what's on. Let's see what's on the Wrestle Dream card. Oh yeah, versus Zack Sabre Jr. Of course. That's I believe that's the main event. Well, I guess we'll see.
Well, that would make sense.
Title matches are on there, but I gotta keep watching. I'm seeing he's doing his divies. Yeah, this is a really good. This is a good card, I will say.
What, the Wrestle Dream or
the Wrestle
the first
Dream
ever
Hangman versus Swerve? That doesn't seem like anything you need to see, but there's a lot of good stuff on there.
Swerve apparently is really cool.
I like Swerve. I just mean that doesn't sound like there's a lot of other stuff that I would rank very highly. FTR versus Aussie Open.
Oh, nice. Even though Cole and MJF just beat them for the other titles, and it's like
it's the issue. There's just the title bloat is remarkable. I'd say they're managing it better than I thought they would, but it still just is what does any of this mean?
Also, I missed the last Grand Slam too. I'm still playing catch up on my review pods, and I guess the main was.
Well, MJF fought Joe. Was that not the main?
I can't remember. I don't know. I'm still playing catch up from last week.
Yeah, I forget. I know that was one of the mains. I don't know if that was the main. I didn't watch it at all. I know. Oh, I know Eddie beat. What's his face? Eddie beat
Cesaro, right?
Cesaro. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Or Claudio, of course. Yeah.
And I know everyone went nuts for Eddie because he's New York's guy. So that was
Yeah.
that was a nice bone by Tony.
But he won the ROH title, right?
Yeah, of course. Which again, it's like good. I mean, that's cool for Eddie. Like that is, it's a heavyweight title, and it's a promotion that certainly matters in the New York area and matters to Eddie. Like that's, but it's also what does that mean? What is that? What is that? Where does Eddie slot in the power rankings now? Like that used to be a thing they valued really highly in AEW, was showing us the rankings, who went where, how they all compare to each other. Now there's all these belts, and I feel like it's impossible to slot one guy or girl above everybody else.
Right. I mean, it's just like,
look, here's how long ago this was. It's still to come.
Oh,
MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr.
Oof.
Wow, that's
FTR versus Sting and Darby.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Oh, like so. This was Malachi Black versus Cody with Rosario Dawson jumping over the guardrail.
Oh my God, I forgot that happened.
What was the match? The Ruby Soho, Britt Baker.
Yes,
but that was supposed to be her big coming out, and then of course she lost because Ruby Soho doesn't seem to ever win.
No, her coming out party is infinitely delayed to never, as most women on the AEW roster's coming out party is.
Yeah, but she seemed like a big deal when they signed her and they licensed the Rancid song.
Yeah,
and that was a really big thing at the time.
She was one of the first women to come over, right?
Right, yeah.
And she was always one that everyone said, as good as NXT is and WWE is, like but with women lately, they really let Ruby down. So everyone was like, oh, she'll be totally, and like the women's division in AEW is just, it's really not great. They have all these talented people. Toni Storm, Britt's still there. They have Saraya, for better. They have a lot of names at least. They have a roster now of valuable people, but I just don't, I don't love it. And even Cargill, like we talked about Cargill, and she's probably going to WWE now.
We talked about Cargill?
We talked about Cargill on the Players Tribune episode.
Oh, right.
Remember, because she did an article for the Players Tribune.
Yeah.
But even like that angle in retrospect where she was undefeated, like that just feels like a thing that happened, like it didn't, she didn't really become a breakout star. She was a mini, she had I would say she had a Wardlow-esque run for the women's division.
Yeah.
Where everyone was like, cool.
Up for NXT.
Yeah, really. That's all that ultimately happened now. And NXT will probably use her better. And it's one of the real issues with AEW that I can't quite figure out.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, wow, what a talent that could really use the reps of NXT.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of people with NXT where it's like, why are they in NXT? This feels like a waste of their time. They should be on the main roster. But then there's certain people where it's like, man, that person really just needs reps. But like, there's something there, and I guess Jade Cargill is like on that very short list of people I would say that for.
They just don't be, like for all, AEW certainly has its pros, and like a match like this is to get back to the thing we're actually watching is one of the things. Obviously, it's one of their pros is if you're a great worker, they will give you a half hour to an hour to do your thing, which is incredible. But then there's people like Cargill where you're waiting. Sometimes you're just really waiting for like an angle. You're waiting for a gimmick. You're waiting for someone to do something of substance beyond have wrestling matches. And I feel like Cargill's gimmick was I won a lot of matches. And when it came down to it, she didn't have much more beyond that. And then she sort of just left. And like WWE, they will give her some. They will find something for her to do that has a little bit more to it. It might pale in comparison to something. They're not saying they'll use her correctly necessarily or figure her out, but there's a chance that they won't just let her go out there and have matches. And I do think AEW often lets people do that. And I don't think that's the best way for someone, especially like Jade, who's pretty young and new to the business. Maybe that's not the best way for her to grow,
Yeah, I agree with that.
100 straight 3-minute matches. Like, I just don't know what that does for you.
Yeah, but she like has a look. She looks like a superstar. It's like you have and she's athletic and like I don't know. I still don't know if she can wrestle, but whatever. Who cares?
Crowd's going nuts for DB.
Maybe she will be able to wrestle. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Jade Cargill, we'll see.
And I'm sure Michaels will. I imagine Michaels will push her to the moon. So.
Oh right, yeah.
Just any tall women, any tall people in general. Like obviously WWE just has such a boner for tall people, and so a tall woman like that coming in and just looking like a giant compared to everybody else. Like, at the very least, she'll get the Raquel Rodriguez treatment, you know?
I hope so.
I also loved it.
I don't know what that treatment really means.
Well, I was going to say Danielson's chest is so red, which is the most, know, which obviously it is, but it's always so great to see. Like, every AEW match he has.
God, yeah. Yeah, his chest is already, like, berry colored.
It is. I love that people get to do these matches, too. Like, because there are people like Danielson, chief among them, and Kenny. Like, as much as I enjoy a good WWE match, and, over there, they're obviously still I think, their heater creatively seems like it might be dissipating a tad, but they've been on a very nice run. But just guys doing a 30-minute match with the ups and downs that make a lot of sense in front of a crowd that understands what's happening and cares and gets excited is just so great. Like there's such an epic feel to that WWE is really so rarely able to recreate.
Right. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing too with AEW crowds. You're waiting for, like, even despite all their, like, a lot of their, like, shortcomings and some of the shit that's been going on lately, it's like you still expect people to, at some point, to, like, start turning off, and they're really not. And the people who are engaged are really engaged in it. So it's like, to me, it almost feels like, I don't want to say wrestling recession proof, but like, it does feel different than just like, it's just like waiting for, like, the rose to come off the bloom or whatever that expression is.
I think you're very right, though. I mean, I think they're the perfect promotion for today's cable audience, where it's like you'd obviously, everyone's always like, oh man, when are they going to crack 1 million again? When are they going to grow? And obviously, I'm sure everyone involved would love if they broke 1 million and grew even more and more. But they get 800,000 to 900,000 like clockwork, and like you said, they get 800,000, 900,000 committed ass fans who buy merch, who stream things, who commit entirely to the product, and that goes on. Not many things can say that anymore. Like maybe they wouldn't have made it 10 years ago because that was not a big deal back then. But where we are now, it really does feel like those fans aren't going anywhere. They're not going to stop unless it totally collapses. They're not going to stop watching.
Yeah, right. And also, too, like, they have access to this international...
Ooh, I like this. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
This is great. Oh, look at that. Oh, my God. That was a great sequence.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, like, perfectly smooth, too, which is so fun, Like, it doesn't have to be, like, silk. It was just very, very cool and very logical.
Right, I agree with that.
It looked like they were trying hard. Like, it should be tried. Sometimes it can look, I feel like you're struggling because it's wrestling and guys are big and it's hard to move them around.
Yeah, I mean, these are 200-plus pounders.
Yeah. Even if they're not big, they're big enough.
Oh, I didn't realize there was the elevated stage.
Yeah, I like that.
Elevated ramp.
Love a good elevated ramp.
Me too, yeah.
You can do the running knee right off it, too, if that's what he's about to do. He's downhill.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's not. He's kicking him instead. Yeah, this is really great. Like, what this has done for Kenny, too. Like, I know it's not perfect, and, obviously there's AEW. We're talking about AEW not collapsing. Like, they've certainly made blunders and insane. Oh, it's a little snappy suplex. Love that, too. God. Danielson takes these bumps where you're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. It didn't even look like he got him over. It looked like Kenny just fell backwards and just...
Which probably is worse for a man's neck.
Yeah. That's fair.
God. But yeah, but Kenny's run, like, it's just, when this started, Kenny was the guy from Japan whose matches we all watched online, and for the last, 3-4 years now, he's been doing this stuff and having 5-star matches and, building his legacy. Like, he's a legitimate North American superstar now, which is very cool. Like, it wasn't the case a couple years ago. He was a guy we all hoped would be something like this, and he sort of built his legacy totally apart from WWE, which is rare. And I feel like the Bucks are, people love the Bucks and they're friends of the show, and we love them too, but they're more of a specific taste, whereas Kenny, I feel like, is just pound for pound an incredible wrestler.
Right.
Oh, that was.
Oh my God.
I forgot that. I must have seen a clip of that before, but if you're not watching, Kenny just hit a running knee from about like 30 feet away.
Oh, did you get a Zazzle on?
No, I didn't. I'm not. I got no ads. I'm going straight through.
Jesus.
I'll get the way it's been working though. I'll get an ad later on, and we'll catch back up probably.
Are you getting? Well, I guess I'm getting all these like wedding related.
I got one ad, and it was for a thing that I can't remember what it was at this point.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. It's not about the ads, folks.
No, but it is. But do be warned if you're watching on Toki Video, you will probably not be able to watch straight through. Don Callis' suit is outrageous, by the way. I would love to wear that suit.
God, nothing screams heel heat more than
a pink suit with an unbuttoned collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, though. And this is, I would say my AEW watching often comes down to stuff like this. Like much like Raw, I'm not watching Dynamite weekly. I'm not watching Collision, of course, because I'm not a psychopath. But,
yeah, right.
But I will. But watch matches like this. Like it's one of those like people who, I mean, Dave Meltzer argues constantly with these people online who are also psychopaths in their own way. But like, what a joy to have this promotion exist just to get these matches and check in every month and enjoy them. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
why would you have anything against this? This is great. This is just delightful wrestling.
Well, it's one of those things too. It's like, you know, do you become a bigger star getting fed to Roman or main eventing TNT like primetime cards? Like, you know, to your point, like Kenny is a North American star now. Like, would he have been a North American star had he joined with the Bucks a few years ago when they were trying to entice them? Like, maybe he would have rise to the top. But it's kind of hard to determine. But from what I'm seeing here, it feels pretty much like the best case scenario for him.
Yeah, it feels like his best case scenario had he gone to WWE would have been like he's younger than AJ. He's not. I guess AJ's pretty old. So, but I mean, like, I think an AJ style run, you know, where it's like you get big matches, you're on top, you win some belts, and you become a pretty consistent main eventer. But the idea that you're ever going to be, like I said, you're going to beat Roman, or you're going to be bigger than Roman, or you're going to have like, I just don't think it's ever going to. I think he becomes a really great worker and a top of the card guy who you can slot into a bunch of different spots, you know, in that upper middle half.
I mean, I kind of see AJ as like an outlier because I think he succeeded despite a lot of things going. Like, you know, I feel like there's like a lot, like Finn Balor is still trying to get to that place.
That's true.
You know, and
despite a million chances, it seems like where, you know, and now it seems like it's catching a little more because he's a much better heel and he's got a faction, which does seem like the best case scenario for Finn. But oh my God, are you on that buckle bomb?
Oh no, it's happening right now. God.
It was really terrible. I was gonna say just the idea of doing a buckle bomb in general, I think has been pretty negated because it
stupid.
Yeah, after it killed Sting or nearly killed Sting, I feel like we all sort of agreed maybe we shouldn't do these anymore, and then he just Danielson just breaks his neck.
It's one of those things where it's like because it's hurt people legitimately, now it's like now it's become a good like work move because like you expect it to hurt people now.
But the one they did there, which looked like it was on purpose, was just having Danielson roll over the top rope is just wild.
I feel like that almost is better than just getting hit square on the buckle.
Yeah, you might be right. That might be why they did this. It looks crazy and like sort of unkempt, but maybe that's the whole point. Is he'd rather control his fall on the outside than just fall and hit a bunch of ooh. God, this crowd is so hot too.
Yeah. Well, victory roll.
Yeah.
I'm behind, I know.
Yeah, I'm a little. You're hitting way more ads than I am. Maybe it's because you are getting married and they know.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Well, not that I'm getting married.
No, sadly that they figured that out. That the ads, the Toki videos figured that out. The fine people at Toki Video are very aware.
Targeted ad placement for Toki Video. That whoever that person is earning their paycheck.
Yeah. Oh.
God.
Yeah, these guys are beating the shit out of each other.
We only have 10 minutes left of this match. Wow.
I think it's crazy there's still 10 minutes left in this match.
Yeah, we just got started.
They're going. So this is a great one, too, because they're going pretty hard the entire time, but it's not like a spot fest, you know? Like, there are big spots, but they've had moments where they're doing, you know, some lower scale stuff. I feel like the violence is just so swift and out of nowhere a little bit, you know? It seems like they're going into a little bit of a chain wrestling, whatever, and all of a sudden someone kicks someone else in the head and runs like a madman across the ring. And you're like, oh, we're doing this now. Okay. Jesus.
So you're telling me it's like a wrestling match?
Wrestling match with two guys with no regard for their personal health, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least putting their personal health in the backseat compared to having good matches and doing cool moves. Which is great. That's both these guys' MO, so. And they're still alive to tell the tale,
boy.
So. It'll be fascinating to see what it looks like in like 20, 30 years with these guys. Oh, that was wild. I'm probably a little ahead of you still, but.
No, I did the top rope back suplex.
Oh, good. We're caught up. Great. Fantastic.
How'd that happen?
I did a self sync, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But I was going to say, it's going to be wild to see what happens to these guys who've done so many crazy, you know, spots over the years and had injuries for sure. Because, you know, the thing is, these guys are killing themselves, they're going to break their necks, etc. But obviously, the wrestlers from 20, 30 years ago died for substance abuse issues, other issues, and they also were injured to death, too. So it'll be interesting. These guys have a lot less of the substance problems and a lot more of the hurting themselves problems. But I wonder if they're going to still be functioning into their 60s and 70s to some extent, you know, where it's like, well, it's not perfect, but maybe it's better than the previous generation still, despite all this sort of reckless moves and such.
Yeah, but also like with the way it works these days too, you're seeing a lot of stars coming out of retirement after like 8 years and then being able to wrestle again for 5. You know, like man,
and they're in good shape, and they're not like, you know, they sort of get this. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Oh my god, what do you even call that?
I don't know.
I don't have ever seen that before. That was a wild.
I can tell you, JR definitely doesn't know what that's called.
I would love to hear. He's a Vince McMahon in the 90s levels of not knowing what the fuck things are called. But at least Vince didn't know what suplexes were called. JR doesn't know what fancy moves are called, so at least he has that slight advantage. That was wild though. But yeah, I'm kind of like you said, it's very encouraging that that they do give guys like Edge, like Danielson, they take a couple years off, and all of a sudden they are back in fighting.
Soraya?
Shit, you know? Yeah, Soraya. Yeah, these people.
Sorry, I just remembered.
No, they're all left for like, oh, they're super retired, and then they get to come back, and like that's it. And they look great, and they seem healthy. Like it does seem like the cure for a lot of wrestling elements is just not wrestling for a while.
Yeah, weird how that works.
That's the secret sauce. Is like, I wonder how they can stop being injured. Well, let's just take a year or 2 or 3 off, and then your body will at least maybe not totally heal, but you'll be amazed at how much better it feels.
Damn it.
The sickness you have is wrestling too much.
Well, but that's why it's like that kind of advocates for like the whole like, wow, if this place had an off season.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Well, here comes.
Yeah, but if everybody had like a few months off, like organically or forced, like their bodies would be able to recover. It's like every fighter and athlete with an off season, like, it's like they all need it.
Yep.
Like you wouldn't have an MMA fighter fight every day. That'd be insanity.
And that's why, like you said, that AEW would be. I know, and I think AEW is anecdotally more open to that than me. And the WWE does seem better about that these days than they used to be. But AEW, because like you said, they're so deep and they have all these guys that could in theory come in. And like you said too, they have a built-in audience. It's not like they need all the beyond Punk. And maybe like Danielson, they don't have a ton of guys who I think are necessarily ratings drivers in and of themselves. Like they're all just useful cogs in the big machine. Like they're the kind of company that could get away with giving guys and girls time off and not having it totally. Oh Jesus, that was great.
Poison Rada. Yeah.
But like they could give people a month or two and it wouldn't really matter. They just slot the next guy up and give them a little bit of a run, and then they really could take advantage of that flexibility. But instead. They do work their guys pretty hard, especially with all these shows. I know they don't do house shows, but 3 live shows, and they expect a lot of these guys to be on most of those, and so
Is AEW still doing those live events, those like house shows?
I think that has been toned down since they have Rampage and Collision.
Yeah, that would be silly for them to keep doing that.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's like the whole point is to do weekend house shows anyway. So, is something gonna happen? Oh,
how am I ahead
I think
now?
you're ahead of me now. Wow.
Don't worry,
I forget how this
will
ends.
interrupt me.
I think it ends. I think it's a time limit, but I want to see if that's true. 4 minutes left. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. This is a great. You guys must have been losing your minds at all this.
It was me in front of the show, Steve Hoffman.
Yeah, not a friend of the show in that he's been on, but friend of the show and loyal listener.
Yes.
Invited on. Steve, come on, Awesome Truth.
Yeah, let's
come do a watch along with us. Honestly, that's it.
Oh man, that'd be a great.
Yeah, we're gonna get Steve on the show. That sounds great.
Okay, great.
Especially this far into our run, we
probably should have wanted this one. Now that I'm saying that out loud, because then
we'd have 3 people dealing with ads on Toki Video. Though that would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of self-syncing.
Yeah, we don't need that.
We'll do a full singer for a Peacock.
Yeah, that's easy peasy. So.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just it's one of those matches. It's exactly what you'd expect, and it's great. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just this is what you in your head. You're like, surely these guys will just kick each other and knee each other in the head a ton, and then you watch it in execution. You're like, yeah, this is fantastic. They're pulling it off perfectly. Yep, this is all I wanted.
Oh God, Danielson's so good.
I know. The fact that he makes kicks like that, which is, 10 years ago, again, would not have been a move in a lot of people's repertoires, because kicking people in the shins, that looks stupid, but I'm sure it hurts. Like, you kick them really hard. Jesus, that would hurt a lot.
That's why they do it in real fighting.
Yeah, it's one of those real fighting moves that they've been able to sort of make translate with guys like Danielson. Like, some real fighting moves just don't. Like, speaking of the Rousey Baszler match at, what was that? Is that Mania?
Were we speaking about that?
No, but I'm just thinking about that. Sorry, speaking about it now.
How were we talking about that match?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. We'll save that thought for later.
SummerSlam, right?
No, SummerSlam, yes, and that was a perfect example of like how this those moves do not translate visually and otherwise to wrestling matches. But Danielson pulls a lot of them off in ways that a lot of other people can't.
Yeah, I missed that 5-star match.
Oh well, everyone in the stadium took a big nap, so they all missed it too.
The giant take a shit match.
Yes, take a shit or take a nap, drink a beer, like choose any activity beyond watching the match.
Get a stadium dog, a $10 stadium dog.
Where do you put that twang on it? A little stadium dog.
What the fuck ever. God. Anyway, why are we talking about that match?
When we're watching this incredible actual 5-star match, yeah.
We didn't vet this. I hope Toki Video doesn't just like cut the match short.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's gonna keep. There's no way Toki Video would do that to us. This feels. I think this feels like the end, right?
I think so.
I don't recall if they do
definitely is.
Like a straight like stoppage in the middle of a pin type thing, but I think they just sort of wave it off, don't they? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So it is just so it's a straight time limit. Okay. That's good. I kind of like they didn't sync it up like, WWE style where it's explicitly oh, here comes some bucks.
Does Bryan have like friends here?
I don't know. I don't think he was in the Combat Club yet, so probably not. They're not beating him up though. They're just checking on Kenny, right? Yeah, it was a bit of a letdown ending, but but realistic. I think comes at the end of so much excitement that it doesn't really need to be. I don't think it needs to be immaculately ended.
No, it was a great match.
Well, now they have to have another one, and they've shown restraint, and there's been injuries and stuff. But obviously,
it's almost better that they didn't end with like a
now they're beating him up.
Yeah,
I thought they were being gentlemanly about it, and then the Elite all kicked Danielson in the head. Well, this was in the Bucks.
Christian and Jungle Boy.
Wow. Oh well.
And Luchasaurus.
Wow. Well, how fast that all fell apart. All those former best friends. By the way, the Bucks are in their great outfits era here too.
And rompers and weird taxi cab hat. How do you know what to call that?
It's really funny to see Christian being a good guy too. Like another guy who's been such a good heel the last couple months. Now probably going on years, but man, now he's just friend of friend of like the poor faces who were getting beat up.
And CM Punk talks.
Well,
live interview.
Whatever happened to that guy? Where'd he go?
Well, womp.
That was a great match. That was super fun. And, the start of something special. And, like, hopefully they get a chance to run it back because, obviously, there's so much more room. And the time limit is just begging for a rematch. And I think I must have just been logistics why they haven't had a second one, right? Because Kenny missed a lot of time. Because they've never done Omega Danielson 2, right? Or did they?
They did it Full Gear. And
did they? Oh, am I lying entirely that they did another one?
I don't remember. Maybe they didn't. And then they went to Kenny and Hangman. I
don't know. Well, regardless, excellent match. I do not know if they've done. I don't think they've done. No, they haven't done one yet.
Right. Well,
unless they did it in the last couple months, which I don't believe they have. Anyway, regardless, I'm not a historian, unfortunately, of the modern era. But that was really, really good, and it illustrates all the best things about AEW. Like doing the time limit, letting these guys do their thing, just beating the hell out of each other, trying to make it realistic, but still pro wrestling. Like I think that's its bread and butter. And like you said, they're probably never going to get millions upon millions of viewers for that sort of thing, but they're going to get a million people who really, really get into it and are never going anywhere. So that's their bread and butter.
That was one of those people 2 years ago.
So. Yeah, and then you're sort of around.
Yeah.
You're sort of still watching.
Well, I did miss this year's Grand Slam, so.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Oops.
Yep. But great match. 5 stars, right? Well, a treat, would you call it?
It's a treat.
Yeah, I'd say it's got to be a treat. It's a treat. It's delightful, and it's all the good things about AEW. So thank you all for watching along with us. Hope you're able to navigate Toki Video. Someday AEW will create a streaming service or hop on Max or something like that, and it will make AEW watch-alongs that much easier. But for now, thank you so much for coming along with us on that slightly windy journey to watch a great, great match. At least we got that out of it. If you want more in our archives about AEW, about Bryan Danielson, about Kenny Omega, about a lot of people involved in what we talked about today, you can find our archives at awesometruth.libsyn.com. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you get our old episodes and our new ones. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AwesomeTruthPod. Well, great to watch this match with you. Delightful. A showdown, a lot of kicking, a lot of kneeing, a lot of fun beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it's great to revisit that. I knew it was good in person, and it was reconfirmed today watching it in VOD on some offshoot YouTube channel.
That's right. Oh, thank you all so much for listening. And remember, the truth will set you free.